Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another new episode of Posts and Pints, the perfect podcast for everything MLS. My name is Matt, as always. With me today are my co-hosts Kyle and Alex. Dre's on vacation, a well-needed vacation, but don't you worry, he'll be back next week. But in his place, a very good friend of Posts and Pints, Kevin Lopez, who is not only a great friend of the pod, but runs his own podcast, the
Too
BKN
many.
podcast. And he's also in charge of one of my favorite geek pages, Geek Legion Nation. Kevin, welcome to Post and Pints.
Not quite. Thank you. Not quite. It was Geek Legion Network. Close. Close.
God damn it, man.
Close.
This is why we can't have nice things.
You're trying. Good job. A for effort.
He
Well,
tried.
hey, at least he corrected me so people know, but that, trust me, it's what I follow. Kevin,
Or
tell
was
us a
that
little bit
purposely
about...
done, folks?
Kevin's pretty great, except for being an Eagles fan.
And liking the Rangers and liking the Red Bulls, but that's your fault. That's your fault, Kyle.
Yeah, don't
And,
blame me for the Rangers, though. You're just wrong on that one.
And I like the 76ers, so you can hate me for that too, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a Celtics fan, so I guess I do, kind of.
Yeah, you suck too.
Yeah,
Don't we
we're all
all?
terrible. What's the
Yeah, I was about to
difference?
say, aren't we all just
Mhm.
horrible? Kevin, tell
Yeah,
us a
Says
little
the
bit
Mavericks
about...
fan.
Hey, I have Luka, Magic, and the Unicorn to look forward to for the next
That's right.
decade. Okay, you
That's
leave
right.
my Eurostars alone. Kevin, tell us a little bit about all of the podcasts and all the wonderful things that you do. You say you have a lot of stuff, so we want to hear it.
Okay, I have too much stuff. I'm going to start with the Geek Legion Network, which is basically just my umbrella name thing for all the different shows I do. So, in terms of individual shows, we have BKN, which is a podcast I do with two of my old Guitar Center employees. Generally, it's a sports podcast. Sometimes it's music and whatever we want to talk about. It's dumb, but it's funny, I hope. I have a dedicated Eagles show, probably much to the dismay of Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. And then I have Geeking Out, which is a gaming and technology show. So we talk about right now a lot of video game stuff because the PlayStation 5, the new Xbox, Nvidia, Apple stuff, whatever. And then I do two gaming shows on YouTube, KK Let's Play, and just another Let's Play called Jalp, because I think the name is funny. And I'm doing all of them basically at the same time, except BKN. We kind of had to stop that temporarily because one of the guys, Brandon, moved to Connecticut. And we had to figure out how to get all that stuff going remotely. Yeah, so we're doing like 4 to 5 different things on top of working at the
Do what
post
we
office.
Hey, man, dude, I was
We
about
just
to
do what
say,
we do and do everything remotely so we can, like, turn Matt off so we don't have to stare at his stupid face.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, like, there are times I just like, hey, why is my video not working? And then I realize, like, Alex has, like, Control-Alt-deleted my video so that no one has to see my face when I talk. Because, God, who would want to look at me?
I only had to do that 3 times.
You see, I think the same thing. Who wants to look at me and have such a good camera? You can see every disgusting pore in my face. And you can see every hideous pixel. It's
I'm
great.
Jealous.
I
I'm
call-
jealous.
I call that a wise
That's your
investment.
thumbnail right there, Alex. That face.
Speaking of wise investments, guys, before we start talking soccer, we gotta start talking drinks. Kevin, since you are the guest, what beverage did you bring to Post and Pints today?
Okay, we'll see how angry you all get. I don't want to drink. I'm not a huge drinker. I basically drink socially. I had some beer. I left in somebody's truck, and I've been told that it's all gone. I'm not going to say who it is, but let's just say the name rhymes with Mile.
Was it a
I think
red
we all-
truck? Was it a red
Hmm.
/ burgundy colored truck?
Perhaps.
Does it have like
Perhaps.
these pop-out
Aye, aye.
coolers in
It
the
may
backseat?
be Miles Kyers. You may.
I'd like to make a PSA. Any
Mhm.
truck, any
Mhm.
beer left in my truck that has been consumed by me is not my fault. You
But I
are
did not
fault
say
for leaving the
you.
beer.
You ousted yourself, sir. That's on you. I guess it's my fault for leaving it in your truck. So I don't have beer, but
The amount of times I've drank Dre's beer on him.
it's too late for me to have coffee. So I have Coke, Coca-Cola, not the drug,
Wow.
and bubbly because I'm boring.
Still better than
me,
Justin.
excuse me. I've seen those
Yeah, it
commercials.
has
It's
more
pronounced.
Mhm.
It's
This is cherry.
it's pronounced Buble, but I won't get
Bublé.
into
Yeah.
that.
Like Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé water.
Yeah, exactly. Well, come on, he's in the commercials.
Sponsored
It was
by
funny. I
Uncle
laughed.
Blue.
I've been corrected.
I've laughed a time or two watching Michael Bublé talk about bubbly, but whatever. Who cares? That's a different topic, different time. Alex, what are you drinking tonight?
I whipped out the last can I had of Bavarian raspberry mead from Melvino that Kyle brought me back about a month ago, I would say. So
You
Cheers, boys,
allowed
is the last
mead
one.
to be. You allowed that to be in your fridge for a month, Kyle. I'm disappointed in you.
I'm pretty
It's
good
the
at not
last
drinking
one.
things that aren't mine. I have self-control.
That's not true.
Sometimes.
I see.
Someone just said
I
that the
see.
beer they left in your van just magically disappeared.
Yeah, but he
Well,
has
that's
to live.
different. I'm
He
never
has to
gonna
live with me.
see that
Remember that,
again.
Matt.
That's different.
You have to remember he
I
lives.
mean, I'm not going to
No, I'm not gonna
say
lie.
it was him. I'm not going to say it was
I'm
aliens.
okay with it. Most of the time, beer gets left in my fridge. You mean just
And
cutting all
Kyle,
the audio from that exact 5
what
seconds when you were all
beverage
yelling
did
at
you
me?
bring to the podcast today?
Okay, fine. Whatever.
Really
Exactly
worried.
what I expected.
I'm really
literally
worried the
can't
day.
go.
Yeah,
Broke, don't fix it.
I've listened to every
I got more
episode of this
PBR.
goddamn show, and I expected nothing less.
but you got a
Like
little
you
bit
expected
more,
any better
Kevin,
of me by
because
now. Anybody
someone's
listening should
wearing
know
a
I'm a piece
shirt.
of shit by this point.
What?
Kyle.
I can take.
Kyle's
I can
wearing a
take it off.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Thank you. God, I felt so
why'd you say that?
uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable. They see now I feel better. See, I feel better. See,
This is
Give me
more
one
like
second.
it. Okay.
yeah, exactly. You felt like something restricted you.
I feel better. Thank you.
There we go. Sorry.
There you
Okay.
go.
I
Now
thought something
We can
felt
continue.
weird.
And of course, because it's
I'm good.
October, Dre brought an
Much
Oktoberfest
better.
beer in September. And
No
I'm having
PBR in
none
this
of
shirt.
that.
All I need is
I am
NASCAR.
bringing the Wet Ticket German Ale, a nice Prost. Enjoying
Ooh.
it kindly. It is a German beer. It is October. And
Nice.
cheers to the Bundesliga season. There you go. Hey, look at that. We talk about other things besides MLS and the fact that Manchester United makes me want to drink a hot glass of bleach. But guys, we have
Oof.
MLS to talk about.
365
And first and
days, I
foremost,
don't
there's
have
a
to
lot
see
of
his
things going on
stupid
currently
face.
right now in the New York Red Bull camp. Since Kevin is here, we are going to really jump into everything going on with the New York Red Bull right now. Recently losing 3-1 to a very hot Orlando team. 3 wins out of 5 games under Brad Carnell, who is their interim manager. Strikers are actually scoring goals. Tom Barlow, Brian White. These guys are all doing an absolutely incredible job for the first time all season. And apparently they might have a new coach coming in. Kevin, you want to tell us a little bit possibly about this new coach who's coming in all the way from the UK?
Yeah. So I'm terrible at pronouncing names. What was it? Gerhard Struber? Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm just saying Gerhard.
Something like that?
I say Gerhard because it sounds like something from a Die Hard movie.
Gerhard? I'm just going to go with that. Yeah. So he's from Europe. I believe the Premier League. Am I right on that? Or am I wrong?
He's from the Championship. He's playing what is it, Kyle? It's Barnsley?
Yes, it was Barnsley. That I know. He sounds like he's actually kind of excited to leave. I actually did a little bit of digging before I hopped on. It's an article from FrontRowSoccer.com. Apparently, he agreed to leave Barnsley. He may be leaving either today or tomorrow to come to Red Bull.
There you go. Look at
So
that.
apparently, it's like agreed that like it's happening.
No, wow, that's
He's
dude. I'm
definitely
telling you
not
right
getting
now.
any help from the FO there, so that wouldn't shock me.
I mean, the Red Bull paid $2.36 million to purchase his rights.
He's
so they're
playing the nice
serious
guy
about
act,
this.
so I'm leaving
Friendly
to go
reminder, I
somewhere,
bel-
quote unquote.
And that's actually a question I was
Does it make
going to bring
anybody
to
else a
all of
little
you
upset
guys.
that they'll spend money
So,
on coaches but not players?
I'm newer to soccer.
Except
I've
for
only been
Matthias
getting into.
Jorgensen.
I've been watching it for the last like 2.5, maybe 3 years. So I guess I still have a bit to learn. But if I'm correct, the beginning of this season, the Red Bull brought in Kevin Thelwell. Is that how you, right? Thelwell? Is that the name? He's like above Dennis and everyone. Since he's been here this season,
From Wolves.
he got rid of Armis, brought in this coach. Or, well, it seems like this Thelwell guy is not going to tolerate the status quo. Like, do you think maybe he's going to be the thing to give us like the kick in the gut we need? Like, maybe he'll sign players?
I mean, here's the thing.
President
From an
Premier
outside
League guy should start with this question.
they've had to have realized now for a good chunk of time that they are not making money. Salzburg makes money. Leipzig makes money. Red Bull New York should make money. It should. It really should. It's in a market where it should be growing. And you know what? With Jesse Marsh, they had the right systems in place and they had the right people in place. But you know what? We've recently had a fresh pour about this exact thing. When you're rebuilding, you need Not just the players, not just rotating coaches. You need to rotate everyone from top to bottom. And it looks like that's what Red Bull are doing with Red Bull New York. I think that's about the best I can describe it. I think it's all for, again, I'm all about change. I'm all about it. I'm all about fresh starts. I'm all about rebuilds. I think they're great. Red Bull have a team that are all youth based. There's not that many senior players left on this squad. So really, when you look at it, it is something that, this team is set up for a rebuild. We were told at the beginning of the year a rebuild was coming. So you know what? I'm all for it. I'm all for moving pieces. If it's about changing, from top to bottom, I'm excited to see what happens. And you know what? I want to jump into the game now because the Red Bull didn't look too bad against Orlando. And Kyle, I'm going to have you start it off. What did you really take away from that Orlando victory?
My biggest takeaway, and I know we're all Red Bull fans, but I'm going to go on the opposite side. My biggest takeaway is that Orlando just looked unbelievable for me. For Dwyer, Matinho, Ruan, Rosell, and Akindele, and then Pereira and Junior Urso to all either be out for the whole game or come off in the middle of the game, all with injuries. And for them to be still playing like this, to me, is impressive. And that team's showing real depth. The back line for Orlando, the replacements fit in fairly well. I don't think anybody would argue that. On the Red Bull side, Velo really showed man of the match quality for me. I'm just super happy for him, especially after the last few years. I see signs of this five in the back working, but the defense still has its moments. I'm not going to put it all on Jensen. I do think there's a better chance if Mira's in goal.
And Kevin, before I jump in, any opinions on this game Kyle might not have hit?
I mean, he hit a lot. He hit probably the points better than I could, but Orlando is the better team. They are. The fact they're missing all these key players and they still they're missing these people and they look like they didn't miss a beat. I think it's safe to say their magical run in the MLS's back tournament, it wasn't a fluke. I think they're pretty legitimate now. So I think we have to seriously have them in the running with Philly, with the Crew, and Toronto. I don't think we can dismiss them now.
And you know
Absolutely
what?
not.
And you both are absolutely correct. Coming through, Orlando is proving why they are the third best team in MLS. Not just the East, in the entire MLS going into next week's game. Coach Pereira is doing an absolutely amazing job being here for only 1 year. He has MLS experience and he's won things before, but he took on an Orlando side a lot of people didn't give any credit or any, sort of merit before the season started. DK is going to be one of the best strikers in the MLS in 2 years. I'm giving it right now. He's only a rookie, but this guy has the size of a center back with the athleticism of a striker, and he has that finishing touch. And when you're on a team with players like Nani who just drill balls into the box, he is set up for a perfect system where he is going to succeed. I'm telling it now. You can quote it on the day. Daryl DK is going to be an absolutely wonder in the MLS. Hopefully we get to hold on to him a little bit because strikers that size usually find their way to the European promised land. But overall, I don't want to take anything away from the Red Bull. The Red Bull are starting to look the way they did under Jesse Marsch, using that high press, counterattack, aggressive midfield. Yes, it didn't all work for them today, or that day. But overall, the Red Bull as well showed a lot of, you know what? There's a wind of change.
When is they're playing the press for the full 90 again?
And you know what? If you are a Red Bull supporter, that is something to see. But overall, I'm telling you right now, I'm extremely happy with Orlando. A lot of people were saying that, you know what, being in the MLS's back Cup final was a little bit of they were there because they're used to it. But you know what? They are proving that, you know what? They're not just a one-hit wonder. I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't shock me if you saw them make another run in the MLS Cup playoffs. Now on
2 points, the 2 points behind the Crew in Toronto.
I was about to say, before we transition, Kyle, did you have something to say?
I just wanted to open up a question to you two because I feel like it needs to be discussed. How does Royer get absolutely McFucked and flattened in the box by a Pereira who didn't even go for the ball and it's a no call?
because the ball already got away from him. So the legal technician, like the technical rule, and it's carried across all soccer, is you can get fouled in the box, but if you're not going to retain possession, whether you get fouled or not, he took an aggressive touch and the ball bounced like 4 or 5 yards away, where a defender would have come in and at least cleared the ball anyway. He technically lost
Sticking's legal in the MLS. I understand.
Well, I mean, it's also the MLS. You also have to remember that this is not the French league, the Italian league, the Premier League, the Spanish league, where if Bruno Fernandes cries on the corner of the box, Manchester United's rewarded a penalty. So I'm not getting into that conversation. One conversation we are definitely going to be getting into is Atlanta United friendly reminding the rest of the MLS, hey, we know how to score goals. And DC United reminded the rest of the MLS that, wow, we are not good at this thing called soccer. DC, 1 win in 7 games. Atlanta, finally on a little bit of a streak. But, I mean, let's be honest, they've only gotten 2 wins in their last 9. So this is a really big turnaround for Atlanta. Kevin, I'm going to open this one up to you first. Was this just Atlanta just outright playing DC, or is this more DC, what are you doing, get your shit together?
Definitely both, I think. I mean, I have these notes here. So John Gallagher, he got 2 goals. And did you see the 1 goal from Brooks Lennon? That was a beautiful shot. That wasn't a fluke. So part of it was just Atlanta you saw signs of Atlanta, like old school. I shouldn't say old school, they're new, but Atlanta of like the last 2-3 seasons. You saw flashes of that in this game. It definitely helped they're playing DC United. I mean, obviously, DC, I don't have the points in front of me, but they have to be amongst the bottom of the league.
They are in last place.
They are last. There we go.
I think they're winless in their last 6, and they are last.
Okay, so that definitely helps. But, I mean, those goals were legit. That one, I wrote down specifically Lennon. That one shot was beautiful.
And Kyle,
they were better.
And Kyle, to hand it off.
The scoring for Atlanta United was an absolute masterclass tonight. For them to turn around and put on a show like this, even against DC, has to feel good. And I think every Atlanta fan is kind of hoping that they can take that and move forward, even though everybody kind of knew it was a gimme. I will say I am completely appalled at Frederick Brilliant. That was a completely uncalled for challenge. I know you're desperate, but you got to be smarter than that. And the fact that it got that embarrassing at the end, where you just have Russell Canhouse come on and an illegal sub, it's not a good look. I mean, I know that every Red Bull fan and maybe even NYC fan and Philly fan is thinking, I really hope Ben Olsen gets a lifetime contract with them, but he's got to go. It's not the answer.
No, and I mean, you are absolutely, I mean, you both are absolutely correct. Atlanta just had practice on Saturday night. I'm going to be honest with you guys. They showed up in pennies, not jerseys, pennies, because these guys just ran practice. It basically was, do what you want. I'm just going to sit here and take it. But overall, these are a lot more questions for DC United than I do Atlanta. Everyone in the league knows Atlanta on their best day can put 4, 5, 6 goals on target. I can't wait for them to get Joseph Martinez back. But overall, Bill Hamid is still one of the better goalies in this league, and it's really frustrating when you have no defensive help in front of him. DC has no game plan. They have no structure. They have nothing set in place to even produce semi-success. DC is one of those teams that are probably thanking their stars fans are not allowed to come into the stadium with, because I'm telling you right now, if Audi Field will sell out, and I'm telling you right now, those DC faithful would be giving them absolute hell. And it's exactly what you said. Coach Olsen has to go. He's definitely overstayed his welcome, and if Armas can get fired, if other coaches in the league for doing a whole lot less can get fired, Olsen has to be out the door. It's also one of those things where it's not helping anyone. You're not making the playoffs. You're not advancing to anything special this year. Cut the cord and see what miracle you might be able to pull out of your ass. But really, overall, I think this is a great tune-up game for Atlanta. Atlanta needed this game. Atlanta needed a game where they can go, holy crap, we could still put the ball in the net without Joseph Martinez. But really, it's absolutely wonderful. A couple goal of the year quality goals in this game. But I just, as happy as I am for Atlanta, I'm a little more discouraged on DC. You see teams like DC and they know what they're supposed to be doing, and they're just not getting it from the coaching staff. On to another team that is bouncing back a little bit. San Jose upsets a struggling Los Angeles Galaxy 2-1 on a late penalty. San Jose only second win in 11 games, and I mean, be honest here, 4 straight. Are we officially labeling Chicharito a bust?
Point. Yeah. You only have a few games left in the season, and he's been a non-issue. Yeah, we all gave him the benefit of the doubt because of the injury and all that, but the fact of the matter is they paid a lot of money for an informed Chicharito, and what they got was a guy that almost immediately went on the injury list, came back to be a nowhere near a difference maker that they know he can be. I also think that maybe at this point we might consider that San Jose might just be Los Angeles kryptonite. They have 2 wins in their last 11. Do you want to guess who their other win was against?
Gotta love when you have to play the same opponents basically on the Wheel of Fortune. You basically just spin it and you keep playing the same 6 teams over and over and over again. But Kevin, I'm going to hand the question off to you. Chicharito, bust?
I mean, at this point, it's tough to argue that he's not one. Like, it's just not. Kyle hit it on the head. Yeah, you sink all that money into it, you investing in it, and you're not getting anything back. How much longer do you want to deal with it before you are ready to move on, you know?
I just think he's no Lord Zlatan. And I think, as we saw some comments from the players, even the players know it. Their goalkeeper said it was much easier with Zlatan up front. It's not working this year.
But my only...
No, I actually...
No, go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, I was just going to say, I took a snapshot of just some interesting statistics about that game. San Jose they dominated a lot of the really important stats. They had 6 shots on goals, 14 shots overall, round up to 62% possession, the penalty kick. All these offensive stats, San Jose just dominated the Galaxy. I'm surprised it was only 2-1.
I just want to jump it back real quick. I want to land back on that Chicharito bus conversation. Chicharito had to have known whose shoes he was stepping into. You're stepping into someone's shoes who was not only one of the best players in the MLS, but one of the best players in the world. And you're even seeing it now. Zlatan is dominating and keeping his head above water back in the Italian league. He's a guy.
His age is very impressive.
So the thing about, my biggest thing is Chicharito had to have known that that's the type of situation he would be getting into if he went to Los Angeles. And if he's just there for the paycheck, then he's just here for the paycheck. And hey, enjoy your cup of coffee and just don't close the door on you when you, walk out. But, it's exactly that. Chicharito has, exactly as you said, Kyle, he's a non-issue. He's not performing anywhere near any level Zlatan did. But then if you really look at Chicharito's career, he's best known for being a super sub his entire career, someone who comes off the bench in the 70th minute and just causes hell for 20 minutes in the box. He's never been a guy who can play a full 90 minutes and make an impact. So this is also as much as...
It's amazing to me that you gave a guy like that the contract that you did.
But that's why my exact final point was, this is him being a bust. It's just as much on the Los Angeles Galaxy's head as it is his. Because the LA Galaxy also had to have known what type of player Chicharito was. Javier Hernandez was never the standalone star. He needed role players around him. He was never going to do it on his own like Zlatan could. Zlatan could take a pee-wee football team to the Super Bowl.
I'm not arguing with that. Yeah, he probably could. I mean, at the end of the day, though, with this game, it's hard to argue with goalkeeper David Bingham. The penalty kick wasn't the issue. It was the sucking for 80 minutes that did it.
Absolutely. Something I want to jump into with the game. First of all, give a shout out to Binghamton. Stopping Wando from getting his 164th goal in the league, that can't be easy. But overall, you really look at it, from the wonder goal from Marcos Lopez, I mean, it's exactly as Kevin said. San Jose owned this game, and Kyle, just as you said, possibly, maybe San Jose is just Los Angeles Galaxy's kryptonite, and I really don't know how else to put it. I have a couple other notes here, but I feel like I'd just be repeating myself. San Jose had a really good game. The Los Angeles Galaxy, once again, heavily disappointed. Chicharito, once again, heavily disappointed. Overall, I'm putting a huge disapproval on the Los Angeles Galaxy this year. If I had a big ass stamp and a piece of paper that said LA Galaxy, I'd slam it on the table because they are just rejects. And I'm putting them as my dead bird of the season. They are like, they were supposed to do good things, and they just did a whole lot of bad things.
Bob Menery, the shitbag titty fuck of the week.
Back to you in the studio, Cotton. As we head over, or we head back to the Eastern Conference, we had the Eastern Conference game of the week. Two teams who both have the Supporters' Shield and an MLS Cup run in mind. Toronto, though, is shaking up the entire Supporters' Shield race with a 2-1 victory over the Philadelphia Union. Toronto's now unbeaten in 5, while Philly, this was their first loss in 6 games. So Toronto coming in and just breaking the mold on Philly. We're going to start this one with you, Kyle. Lucky for Toronto, or did they really earn this win?
Toronto really earned this win. Philly did not in any way slack in this game. Philly brought it. Toronto was just the better team. I think the takeaway here is Pozuelo has done amazing filling in with Josie Altidore and, more importantly, Morrow. I think that this team's gotten used to performing without Josie Altidore, so possibly losing Morrow is the bigger issue at this point. To snap a 5-game Philly unbeaten streak is pretty impressive. My only takeaways from Philly really is I think that Philly just has to keep doing a good job of seeing who's hot, starting the right 11 guys. Real over Wagner was a pretty good call, considering Wagner's injured. He can't play. But Bedoya over Fontana, I'm not sure that worked out like they wanted it to. And considering how hot Fontana's been, I think, like Adam said, I think he's earned some playing time.
Oh, yeah, no, this is definitely a pro Fontana podcast. Shout out Adam Booth. Thanks again for the love, my guy. But Kevin, Philly looked good. So, I mean, we got to give this to Toronto, right? Toronto did an absolutely amazing job in this game.
Yeah, so I know Philly got the first goal in the game, if I'm correct, right? They got the first one.
They got a nice early goal from Santos. Yes, they did.
I wrote down a time. It was basically 29 and a half minutes. Philly was applying a ton of pressure. They shot an amazing kick that almost went in. The goalkeeper knocked it out, and then it was rebounded, and he blocked the rebound. So Philly, that whole first half, they were applying a lot of pressure. It could have easily been 2-0 going into the second half. If they just had a couple inches in one direction, it could have been a 2-0 game, and then the dynamics completely change. So I can't say Philly did much wrong. Toronto just outdid them. And I can't speak for you guys. You know, this year I've been focused on Columbus, the Union, Seattle coming back, Portland with the tournament, Orlando. I totally lost focus on Toronto. And then all of a sudden, holy crap, they're tied with Columbus.
I think a lot of people did. I think that a lot of people viewed them as floundering at the beginning, even though I don't necessarily think that's what they did. But they're definitely back in form.
Don't we say this every single year? Doesn't Toronto always end up being the team that you just forget about, and then you blink 4 times, and then they're beating Atlanta in the Eastern Conference Final, and then they're going to
Absolutely.
The MLS. But that's Toronto's mold. I had the opportunity of being on the Soccer Heads FC podcast not too long ago, and then you see teams like Toronto and Portland. They're not gonna flash you with absolutely being the piss out of their opponents all regular season. They get hot at the right times. They get hot right before the playoffs. They stay under the radar, and they grind out victories when it matters most. And you know what? I always give respect.
Second half come from behind is what they seem to be good at.
But you know what? Hey, W's are W's, man, and it doesn't really matter how you get them. And Toronto finds a way to get them. But after this game, Toronto really can't be too quiet now, because they are now second in the East and second in that Supporters' Shield race, while Philly does drop to 4th. But I believe Kevin said it before, man, it's pretty tight up top. And you know what? That makes for exciting soccer, because maybe the last few years it's been a little bit of a runaway from the team winning the Supporter Shield. So this year it's been a lot of fun watching it every single week. Every point matters. But back to the game, you guys hit it right on the head. Toronto did an absolutely amazing job in this game. They grinded out a really, really tough victory. Philly played their game, and they played it extremely well. But at the end of the day, Palazzo, doesn't he always end up being right place, right time, late goal? I feel like that's just what we always end up seeing. And for me, it's really nice to see a superstar like that always coming through in crunch time. And I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it right now. I get we have some Columbus supporters among us, people who believe the Columbus Crew are going to do things and they're going to go far.
I'm sorry, which two people on this podcast called Columbus is the real deal since fucking episode 1?
And I'm not taking anything
I think the other
away
one's
from...
muted right now, so I don't think he's going to jump in with me.
Don't make me unmute myself while I'm doing shit, Matt. You want to
I'm
go?
not taking anything. I'm not taking anything
Where's my
away
yellow
from you,
shirt?
gentlemen. Columbus is in first, and they deserve to be in first. But I'm telling you right now, I'm predicting into the, I'm looking into my crystal ball in the future, and I, for some reason, see a Philly-Toronto Eastern Conference final. So I believe that those two teams, they're going to see each other again when it really matters, and that's when I can't wait to watch that full 90 minutes.
Not only do I want Columbus to win, I want it to hurt. I want NTN Jr. to score all of the winning goals in every round, just to rub it in.
Speaking of teams that are going to win things, we're talking about the Seattle Sounders and how they just continue to ball. This team, every single
Sounders,
week,
not the Rain City Bitch Pigeons.
yes, not the Rain City Bitch Pigeons. God, that would have been such an amazing hockey team name, and I feel like they lost out on some sweet merch. But yes, the Seattle Sounders win again comfortably against the Vancouver Whitecaps, which takes them into first in the Western Conference. Kevin, we're going to start this one with you. Seattle, they've won 4 of their last 5, and Vancouver has lost 3 straight. I'm telling you right now, Seattle may be in 5th in that Supporter Shield race, but we can't count them out, can we?
No, absolutely not. They're going to be a threat from now to the end of the season. So we'll focus on Toronto, the Crew, Union, Orlando. Seattle is they're just going to creep up there, and then they're going to be a threat like they always are. You can never count out Seattle. Even they looked slow at the beginning of the season. Whatever coffee they started drinking, something clicked, and now they can't be stopped.
They're
At least on the West Coast, they can't.
Same coffee Matt was drinking.
Yeah, they're on that venti Starbucks 2 espresso shots kind of day, but let's be honest here, no one's on that Jamie Vardy diet, which is just slamming 4 Red Bulls before scoring a hat trick against Man City. But
Chat shit, get bang.
Chat shit, get bang. But Kyle, Vancouver, this is just a team that has young talent and has a system in place. Why are they not putting it together?
I still think there's a lot of pieces fitting, not fitting. There's still some change to come. They're on the right track though, as we've seen from other teams. It's a slow build sometimes. I will absolutely give credit where credit is due. Yes, Seattle was a little off for the first half, and it was unusual for them. But Vancouver, all things considered, did play a pretty great first half against Seattle. Of course, until Rui Diaz started doing Rui Diaz things.
Also, can I point out the goalkeeper? I think it was Brian Meredith for Vancouver. If it wasn't for him, it could have been much worse for Vancouver. He was doing some miraculous saves.
No, and you guys are absolutely correct on both sides of the platform. A couple takeaways I want to take away from this game is Seattle has to do better with the opportunities presented with themselves. They don't get to play Vancouver every week. In the first half, they wasted about 4 or 5 solid opportunities where this could have turned into another 7-0, 8-0 game for them. But like I say, you're not going to play Vancouver every week. You're going to end up starting to have to play the serious games down the line against your Portlands, your LAFCs. You need to finish those opportunities because they're not going to come in dozens like they are with some of the teams at the bottom of the table. As Kyle said, there's that man named Rui Diaz who has stolen my heart this season. And I get it. Everyone's attention is on Jordan Morris and Diego Rossi and some other people.
Yao Paulo.
But I'm telling
That
you
man
right,
did everything this game.
But I'm telling you right now, Roy Diaz needs more. He needs to be in the conversation a little bit more for that MVP, because this guy is averaging a point a game. So he's either getting a goal or an assist in every single game he's played in this year. You can't get any more consistent than that. And I really think if he was removed from the Seattle team, they will not be doing as well as they are. But overall, I have other points that I can really jump into here. I don't believe the penalty for Vancouver was a penalty. I believe that was a foul that was actually outside the box. I don't know why they called it inside the box. I was saying before about some playoff contenders here or there. I look at the Seattle team and I watch them play, and I can't help but think they're going to be in the final again. I don't know about you guys. I'll let you guys chime in. But I look at the Seattle team and how they're built top to bottom. And Brian Schmetzer, once again, is just the best coach in the MLS. And I can't take anything away from what he's doing. Once again, he's proving he can put a championship team in place. I really can't imagine Seattle is not the team that comes out of the West.
Between Seattle, Portland, Columbus, Philly, Toronto, I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed at the final this year.
No. And the thing that also goes with Seattle is, besides the way the team is built, they have the experience in the playoffs that a lot of teams don't have. So let's say the Union do get to the finals. They're not only going against a good Seattle team, they're going against a Seattle team that's proven themselves, three times? Like, they what? 3 cups, right? Like, in the last couple of years? They're proven vets at this game. And that, I think, is going to hurt some teams like the Union, who, as great as they are, they're younger. They're not as developed, not as established and proven that Seattle is.
Both make beautiful, beautiful points, and I can't argue with anything that you guys have said. Guys, we put a poll up on our Twitter page. We want to thank everyone who did vote for that. What was your MLS game of the week? What was your favorite game to watch? Everyone, pretty unanimously, 50% of the ballot went for that Toronto-Philly game. So that was a very good game. And like I said, I think we're going to end up seeing them in the Eastern Conference Final. And, guys, we have a fan question, which I haven't told you guys yet.
Ooh.
So this is going to be super fun. From Yanks Ranks. Yanks Ranks. These guys are really cool. They always chime in on our stuff on Twitter. So just thank you. There's no name attached to it. We would say your name, but I don't have your name. NYCFC got a lot of chances this season to win it all. Injured players still did pretty well against Inter and got the win. I really don't know if that's a question, but I'm going to turn it into a question. Do you guys believe NYCFC still has what it takes to be a team to make a run? I'll open the floor to you guys.
I absolutely think that they do. I think that this team needs a couple more key pieces. I think that they need to really learn how to put the ball in the back of the net without Maxi Morales on the field. It was a big problem this year, and as much as you want him to be out every game, you can't go out every time thinking you're not going to have injuries. I could make a backhanded comment about a baseball stadium here, but I'll refrain.
You have to take into consideration they're now back at Yankee Stadium, so they have home field advantage, their actual home field advantage for the rest of the season and going into the playoffs. So, Kevin, what are you
and that
thinking?
will absolutely help.
I mean, right now, looking at the standings, they're 5th, and I think that's kind of the right spot for them, because they're definitely better than Montreal, they're better than Nashville, they're better than Red Bull and Atlanta right now. I'm not willing to say NYC is I'm not going to say they're better than the Crew, Toronto, Orlando, or the Union. So can they make a run? Yes. But once they start getting to that upper echelon, Columbus, Toronto, and I'm going to say Orlando, especially, like those 3, I don't know if they have what it takes at this point in time to keep up with those. And Seattle.
And Kevin, I agree with you 100%. They have done an absolutely amazing job, even with all the injuries. They really have done what they've had to do to keep their head above water. But when the playoffs come around, that lack of depth is really going to hurt. And teams like Columbus, Toronto, Orlando, and Philly are going to kind of have their way with a really thin NYCFC side. And being in that 5th position, I really don't know how the playoff structure is going to be laid out. So you really think to yourselves, are they even going to get a home game? It's probably going to be single game elimination. So there's a solid chance that they don't see, Yankee Stadium outside of their remaining regular season fixtures. So I think they have enough to get to the playoffs, but I really don't see them getting far in those. They look great against Inter Miami, but Inter Miami's also a side that they're having a lot of struggles themselves, and it's kind of like a gimme win when you play against Inter Miami. And I'm sorry for saying that out loud, Luis Robles. I still love you.
I mean,
It's heartbreaking to watch Luis Robles in that situation.
Yeah. I'm taking a look at the NYC schedule, like some of the past games and some of the upcoming ones. And, so they beat a lot of the times they beat the teams they're supposed to. They beat Miami, they beat Cincinnati, they beat Chicago. So the teams I expect them to beat, they beat. But then I see them, they did beat Columbus 1-0. But then I see them lose to Portland. They tied New England. They lost to Toronto. They tied DC. I'm not ready to put them up there with those other teams because you can't tie DC. You have to beat DC. Right?
I would give them credit on beating Columbus, but I remember in that episode we did a lot of talking about that game, and that was not really a game to judge NYC for winning.
What happened in that game again? Because I wasn't able to watch that one, so my memory's fuzzy.
Would you like to do the ranting, Matt?
Columbus lost. Columbus lost. That was more when you were watching that game. Columbus more lost that game than NYCFC ended up winning it. And there was a red card that wasn't a red card, was nowhere near a red card, and we went into ultra aggressive rant in the middle of an episode when that happened. So there was a huge line split between the room on was that the correct call or if it was not the correct call. So
I remember that rant now. I remember that.
That's right. Damn, Jesse's our guy.
Let me say that's the downside of me working for the post office because I do like 6 days a week on average. So sometimes my brain is basically just mashed potatoes. So I'll watch something or go like, oh yeah, this was a game, and I completely forget. And then I'm like, wait, what happened? So it's been tough to keep up.
I don't even remember what happened
games.
yesterday, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Friendly reminder for all our listeners to thank your local postman or woman. They're doing God's work. Mm-hmm. Guys, we're at the end of the episode, which means we're at my favorite part of it, where we got to all sit in a circle and complain about the things in our lives that really aggravate us to like the point of jumping off of our local bridge.
Hold up. I think I have mine this week. Are you telling me that fucker went to Utah without phoning in a farmer's market minute?
Oh yeah, of course he did. Why would you? Why? Okay, so Kyle.
That's what's pissing me off this week. Trey out, Kevin in. Let's do this.
Okay.
You got it.
Trey is the new Chris Armas. Trey out.
I'm a parasite. I'm slowly taking over.
Yeah, wait until he takes my job. Can't wait. Alex, what is what's aggravating you this week, sir?
Well, right now, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my rabbit is currently chewing on the metal frame under my bed. Little bastard. That's not what's pissing me off. Actually, this week, I'm going to change it up. I'm actually happy about something. I found out that Honda, after 2021, will no longer be providing Red Bull their power unit, their motor for the F1 series. I've never actually liked their partnership. I felt like it was cute.
A lot of problems with their motors this year, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think Verstappen's had like 3 or 4 faults where he got like halfway around lap 1 and the motor died. Like something happened, power supply issues. And they just haven't been performing as well as they should have with that motor. So after next year, it is done. And hopefully we'll get some European-made motor, I guess.
I can't wait to put. I can't help but put the Joe Buck voice in this and be like, so to finish that race, they're probably going to need an engine. Kevin, our guest, what is pissing you off this week?
Am I allowed to be a little political, or do we want to avoid?
You can do whatever you want.
Political things.
Yeah, I was going to say you can do whatever you want, but friendly reminder that
what's pissing you off.
Do it live.
Does not affiliate itself with any political standpoint whatsoever. All politics are stupid. The lizard people are taking over.
These are
Go
my
on.
personal views only. So last weekend, me and my girlfriend went to Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, and it was great. But I couldn't help but notice a lot of people not really distancing, which it's a theme park, so I guess what can you do? But people purposely not wearing masks. And then a few days ago, we went to a farm in the Bridgewater, in somewhere in New Jersey, and a whole lot of people not wearing masks. And it made me realize going to that trip brought a sense of normalcy. Like, oh yeah, this is what like we used to do like a year ago. And if we all want to go back to that, just wear the stupid mask. Just do it. Nobody wants to wear them. Just do it. And then when you see the president get sick and he left the hospital, he returned to the White House, and I was watching a video as Alex was talking. He walks up the steps to the front of the White House, takes off his mask, and you can see him visibly gasping for air. And I'm like, oh my God. He should not be back at the White House. He should be in the hospital.
And I'm like, people want to ignore those facts are going to ignore those facts. It's going to be all about, look, he's fine.
The only way we're going to get over this is we need, like, from the federal government, from the top down, lock down the whole country for like a month. It's a federal thing, not a state by state basis. The federal government has to get involved and say, this is happening. You have no say. Let's do this. That's the only way we're going to stop it.
Let's do this.
Just
Leroy!
Just nuke it all.
Let's just end
We've had
it
a good
all.
run. It's just end it.
See, you guys are all complaining about 2020, but 2021's like, y'all, you have no idea.
Yeah.
No, but
The lizard people
no.
are ready to come up. Like, let's do this.
Yo, these
The
guys
lizard
are
people
not,
are probably like, nah, I don't want to get sick. Screw that. I'm staying down here.
Just a friendly reminder to all listeners that the Pentagon released footage of a UFO and no one freaked out about it because 2020, this is just the normal. Also, a friendly reminder, all politics are stupid. I don't care what your opinions
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
Now let's getting into what's pissing me off this week, and I'm going to make it short, simple, and to the point. It's my fantasy pick selection style. My fantasy Premier League team, I believe I'm in Destin my league. I'm the one who runs my league, and I'm in last place. Super fun. That's because every single time I make a switch or I put someone to the bench, that person decides to score 2 goals and get an assist. While the person I put them in for, he played for 40 minutes and then got subbed off. So yeah, 1 point. Good job, Matt. I'm absolutely frustrated to the point where I want to put my phone in the wall, and that's what's pissing me off this week. Yeah, I think we're done here. So, quick little rundown with everything that's going on right now. Make sure to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and let's not forget we are also on YouTube, and we're going to start doing live videos real soon. So you're going to want to, hit the subscribe button if you already haven't. As well, Alex, we're on this thing called Discord, right?
Yes,
That
sir.
answer is a yes.
What's a Discord?
So we're on
A
Discord.
Discord is it's a place where people go and shit talk each other.
So make sure to
and
Sounds
join
about
us
right.
on.
And soccer stuff.
So make sure to reach out to
Sorry,
us, and we will
Matt.
give you the link for our Discord so that you are able to join in on that conversation. We talk about everything from soccer to the weather to if Kyle's wearing a shirt. That's an easy answer, but you can ask it anyway. I don't care.
It's no.
Sometimes we
go.
talk about Matt's testicles. It's rare, but it happens.
Hey,
That's
you know
true.
what?
That's
These are
true.
conversations that you're going to want to be a part of. And let's not forget, boys and girls, we are now on Patreon. Patreon, where you can be able to see everything behind the scenes. We're continuing to add new stuff every single day, but unfortunately, you're not seeing it if you're not a part of the Patreon. Guys, $5 a month. You can't beat it. A lot of exclusive stuff. And let's not forget, it's pumpkin spice season, and you're all out there getting pumpkin spice lattes. That shit's more than $5. So for one pumpkin spice latte, you can help Kyle put on a shirt.
Stop being as big of a Han Solo as Matt for like 5 minutes.
I hate all of you. I really do.
You're all jealous of my.
I hate myself too.
And guys, let's not forget, on your social media platform, or I'm sorry, on your podcasting platform, whatever device you listen to us, whether it's Spotify, Instagram, Apple, doesn't matter. give us a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are massively important, and we greatly, greatly appreciate it. That gives us love. But guys, that's the end of the episode. Anything you guys want to say?
I got something small, actually.
Go ahead.
So since I listen to every episode because I work outside all day, would it make me weird to listen to an episode while I'm listening to myself talk?
No,
Like, is that
Do you refrain from touching your private parts? I'm gonna say no.
I mean, if it turns you
Gotcha.
on, it turns you on. Do what you got to do.
in the middle of work when I'm surrounded by people? Absolutely.
Just,
That doesn't stop Kyle on a normal Wednesday.
Why is the
should-
mailman on the front lawn screaming while
Do
he's
you know-
masturbating?
Real quick, I'll talk to my friends on Discord, and we have a interesting sense of humor. Kyle, you can attest for that. And I make that joke so many times. I'm like, there's probably a kid in the window going like, "Mom, the mailman's doing that thing again." He's being weird. I'm just waiting,
Hands
like,
down his pants again.
But before we
I cannot confirm or deny.
Kevin, really quick before we
Mm.
go,
Yeah.
where can they find you?
I am on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. You can just go on facebook.com/Geek Legion Network, and then you will see all the stuff on there. And then you can just go on Instagram and look up individual things like my Let's Plays and BKN. BKN's also on YouTube, and I'm hoping that comes back soon because we have so much crap to talk about. It's not even funny.
Oh, baby.
Awesome. So
The show's not funny.
So guys, as always, my name is Matt. With me, our guests Kevin, Alex, and Kyle.
Mhm.
This has been another episode of Post and Points, guys. Episode 37. Woo-hoo-hoo, man. We are moving along. The MLS season's moving along. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Say bye to the pretty people.
Bye.
I want to die.
So, hey, not without me.
Because I want to die every week, but I can't.